Tone is in the hands. Ever heard that phrase, that saying, that opinion, that whatever? I saw a video the other day from someone who I really, really like. And he was basically saying, well, I don't agree that tone is in the hands. And my immediate reaction is, what are you talking about? Tone is all in the hands. So I'm on that side of the fence. But then I started thinking about it, and maybe the problem is actually in the saying itself, where tone is in the hands. Well, what is tone? What does that even mean? So I'm going to have a bit of a chat today around some thoughts on that. Okay, so what is tone? Is tone the sound that comes from the particular guitar you're using, the particular pickup combination that you're using? Is it the strings? Is it your picks? Is it the tubes? Is it the cables? All these sorts of things. Do they impact tone? Well, yeah, sure, but I don't think that's what the saying or the phrase is referring to. Okay, so for me, we're not talking about gear, whether a gear is good or not so good. I mean, that's kind of subjective anyway. So yeah, it's not about gear. To me, every person who plays, let's just say guitar right now, every person who plays guitar, they have their own unique fingerprint, the way their hands work together, how hard they pick, how soft they pick, the way they do vibrato, how hard they fret the strings. Of course, their note choices and all those sorts of things, but the way they do everything. So that's what the phrase "tone is in the hands." That's what it's all about to me. So what does all that mean? Okay, if you took 10 different guitar players who were all good, all very good, and you gave them the same guitar, same amp, same pick, same everything, and you said, here, play this piece of music. It could be a chord progression, it could be a blues in A, but play the same thing. You're going to get 10 very, very different sounds. How is that? You're doing the same everything and you're playing the same song. Because tone is in the hands. Again, tone doesn't mean the sort of amp that you're using or the pick that you're using. That affects the sound. But again, for me, the saying is all about what comes out of your hands on the instrument. If you take stories like Jeff Beck, who played on John Bon Jovi's Blaze of Glory, and John Bon Jovi told the story, I think it was on Howard Stern. He sat there and he said, look, I watched him just pull a guitar out of a cardboard box and it just sounded like magic. Go and have a listen to it. So he just had a rental amp, pulled a guitar. It was probably his model guitar, but still he pulled the guitar out of the box, tuned it up and went away. Great. That's tone is in the hands. Steve Lukather did Through the Looking Glass Toto album with a 112 Marshall combo. Sounds like Steve Lukather, right? Well, how is that? The tone isn't in the 112 Marshall combo. It's in his hands. What about Nuno Bott when he famously played through Eddie Van Halen's rig at Soundcheck? And he was just disappointed. It just sounded like me. Didn't sound like the king. Tone is in the hands. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you can play a Fender Twin and sound like Dimebag Darrell. Well, no, of course not. But that's not what the saying is all about. It's about the magic that comes from the hands. Tone isn't literally bright or dark or whatever. I suppose it could mean that if you're talking hands, sometimes you play with your fingers. But hopefully you're seeing what I mean. Okay, again, if I play a chord, and then I change the neck pickup, it sounds different. What about turn the tone down? Of course it sounds different. That's a different sort of tone. It's not the tone that we're talking about. So for some reason, it's a bit of a hot topic. I looked at some of the comments on the video and again saw somewhat polarizing opinions. I did a quick search online and again, polarizing. So why are people so polarized by this? And again, I really think it comes down to the phrase itself, the wording in the phrase, and how literally you take it. Tone is in the hands to me is all about, again, that unique fingerprint that everybody brings no matter what your level. It's very, very hard to mimic somebody else. Of course, you can do it, spend enough hours on it. But the more, you get into it, that's what makes a player unique, and that's where the magic comes from. Whether you're a metal player, blues player, country player, rock player, funk player, whatever. The great, you hear one note, that's them. You can do that with Robin Ford, John Scofield, so many players, Eddie Van Halen, of course. That's not anything to do with the pick they're using, the tubes they're using. That's not relevant. It's their hands. You can give them just about any instrument and again, and sound like them. Eddie Van Halen playing Spanish Fly. No tubes, right? Does it sound like Eddie Van Halen? Damn right it does, because it's in the hands. Anyway, some food for thought. If you disagree, I'm interested. Let me know in the comments. All right, see you later.